Good morning, shalom and blessings, warriors of Yahuwah and the truth. Bella, say good morning. Say good morning. No, something's got your attention over there. Okay. It's okay. I'm gonna start with I was kind of stuck between the lie remember, spiritual captivity, how to tell your family, and the return of Yahusha. The beginning is near.
I wonder if I don't mean to interrupt, but that captive family, is it the how to tell your family verse?
Yeah.
That might help some people.
Yeah.
People are having trouble telling their family or not.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Because when you say something, like we put pamphlets out and people thought we were crazy.
Yes, like sometimes when this last time I put pamphlets out, only
so rude, they put them right
they
there.
were one person was rude and put them on the side and just didn't even take them from their mailbox, and then the other person took them and is actually nice, and he likes to look into stuff. So that was cool, but it's just kind of rude and ignorant for people to just disregard information without even looking at it or looking into it.
We do it
with certain stuff, yes.
Spectrum or something.
Yeah. But we're going to be starting with spiritual captivity, how to tell your family.
I just thought maybe it might help some people that are trying to.
I'm going to start with the introduction on the back this time. Because they don't know the truth and they don't want to know. I'm going to read the back right now. You've discovered that traditions are the walls of the prison and come from Babel. Your family remains blissfully unaware, yet you desire to help them come out of the mother of harlots and her daughters. The spiritual darkness over the world is growing, and those who strive to guard the word of Yahuwah are regarded lost. The first followers of Yahusha lived as he taught them in obedience. Today, all we see are adopted fertility practices, craftily disguised. Share this book with them. Perhaps it can speak for you, so they too will know what is holding them captive.
No, buddy, you can't have her toys. No, I'm sorry. I know. You have toys. No.
Opening thoughts from Lou.
Buddy, you can't.
If pastors had been teaching the 10 commandments that train us how to love, evolution and abortion would never have been issues to deal with. Instead, we hear them saying, don't be legalistic. And they quote dogmas promoting dispensational theology. Yahuwah does not change. Introduction. Spiritual captivity. It's early. How to tell your family. Reading this book is like the scene of The Wizard of Oz, when Toto, the dog, pulls the cord and opens the curtain. This revealed the deception. Culture shock happens to all who look behind the curtain and see the wizard for the first time. If a person studies the origins of such things as Christmas, Easter, or Halloween, the superficial delusion of what we think they represent is exposed. Once it's seen, it can't be unseen. It's okay. Once you've seen the other side of the cultural celebrations, the truth of how they became acceptable makes them impossible for a rational person to continue in. The first response is to avoid talking about how and why we inherited the traditions. Two cannot walk together unless they agree. Amos 3:3. Our society, parents, pastors, and educators pass on traditions camouflaged long ago to hide their pagan origins, mostly without knowing it. When we learn the truth, we become responsible to share it, not cover it with a basket. When we share these things with loved ones, a defense mechanism immediately flares up, and they want to defend them. At that point, the hope having a rational discussion on the subject seems impossible. This book is a bridge to help build a road of communication without friction. Yes, I had issues trying to tell my mother because she still put an Asherah tree in her house after I tried to explain it to her. So maybe this book might help her as well. The issues...
Your mom's like a Miss Know-It-All.
Yes. Pretty much.
Like just because she works at a correctional facility, she's like, I don't know. Those are those people that are headstrong, is it called? Or
Headstrong, yes.
Power, whatever.
And she's just, she feels she's above the law. Because anytime she gets pulled over, she flashes her badge, her corrections officer's badge, they let her go.
Doesn't really matter. It's kind of stupid.
It is kind of stupid.
It's not even cool, you know?
Yeah.
Like thinking you can do whatever you want. That's what gets you in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they're gonna. I feel like they'll lose all that stuff they have because they think they can.
They think they can do anything.
Yeah.
With no repercussions. The issues can be easily verified here in the information age, or continue to be blissfully ignored. Receiving a love of the truth is a precious gift. Failing to share truth with those who are perishing in their spiritual captivity carries heavy consequences. Ezekiel or Yechezkel 33. Blowing the shofar to warn them awakens them, and they can escape from their stronghold or prison.
Blow right when they're sleeping.
Yeah.
Time to get up.
Teaching authorities don't teach, they control teachings, and those who think they're teachers. 2 Timothy 4:3-4. For there shall be a time when they shall not bear sound teaching, but according to their own desires they shall heap up for themselves teachers tickling the ears, and they shall indeed turn their ears away from the truth and be turned aside to myths. Adopted pagan symbols and behavior include Asherah trees, which is the Christmas tree that you drag into your house for Christmas every year. Sacraments, holy water from the Ganges River. Transubstantiation, them giving you the communion cracker and saying that this is the body. That is not the body. I don't think a lot of people did either. I didn't see a lot of decorations this year.
Up here, it didn't seem like a big thing.
Yeah.
The lights, a lot of people put lights.
Yeah. Some of them leave them up all year.
I didn't really see. Yeah, they're up all year.
They make some that you can leave up all year.
Yeah, I just noticed that there are people that have them up all year.
Yeah.
Some weird ones.
Yeah.
They're like red or something.
Yeah, red and blue or red and purple.
Yeah, what is red? Is that just for the state maybe?
Maybe.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sunday is another one. Trinities, things in threes. Celibacy, image worship. Popes, nuns which were the what was it? The church prostitutes. Monks, monstrances, chants, special days adopted from heathens, Lent, prayers to the dead, which is necromancy. Yeah. Indulgences, purgatory, which doesn't exist. Pilgrimages, stigmatas, steeples or pillars, Easter eggs, December 25th, solstice birth, which was not Yahusha'S birthday. The Greek Olympic Games dedicated to Zeus, where they light the altar for the beginning of the Olympics. Their sun deity, the sun in the sky. And uninspired words, traditions, and teachings. Men's traditions, fleshly traditions. Everything people enthusiastically celebrate comes to us from a tainted background.
Trying to get ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, preparation day.
Yeah.
Sun worship. High priestess lights torch from parabolic solar furnace. Archimedes used the same principle using polished shields against the Romans in the siege of Syracuse. On the day of Yahuwah, what shall you do in the day of visitation, and the ruin which comes from afar? Stand now with your potent spells and your many witchcrafts in which you have labored. Yashayahu Isaiah 47:12, Torah Institute, Reapers, is one of the books I read in the beginning of my series on here. And I read the pictures from this way to this way. If you can't see the ones in the other one, it's there's a pope with like a magic wand, and there's a UFO in the sky, And I do not know what they're doing in this other picture. I'm sorry. From infancy, we absorb information from family and teachers that amounts to fallacy and worthless traditions. This is verified by Yirmiyahu Jeremiah 16:19. It's not just entertainment. There is a diabolical plan behind it all, and children are the primary target. The word diabolical literally means of diablos. Wow.
Dude, they take people's kids and give them to people that are actually 10 times worse.
Absolutely.
Sorry, but they do.
They do. It happened to us, sadly. The Spanish word for devil, diablos. A philosopher said, "Give me the children for the first 7 years and I'll give you the man." Originally spoken by Aristotle, this became a Jesuit maxim by Inigo Loyola S.J., the founder of the order Societas IESV. In 1534, Loyola and 6 others met outside Paris, France, in a crypt beneath a church to pronounce specific vows and absolute obedience to the Pope. We're supposed to be obedient to Yahusha, no one else. The Jesuit order was officially recognized as a new order by Pope Paul III. Roscoe, stop! No scratching! By a papal bull titled Regimini Militantis Ecclesiae on September 27, 1540. It is a counter-Reformation military organization and considers its field of operation to be worldwide in scope. Roscoe, shh! The linkage between the nobility and the clergy is clear. Roscoe!
Stop.
JFK opposed secret societies openly in his speeches. That's probably why they assassinated him. It was a planned assassination. A few weeks after this photo was taken, he was assassinated. It shows JFK with the Jesuit general. The Black Pope is in the middle there. The Jesuit general, it's the same guy. And then Paul, it's either the 4th or the 6th. I'm horrible with Roman numerals, so I apologize. World leaders pay homage to source of power. July 1963, JFK resists Jesuits at Rome. And that is why he was assassinated, I believe. This secret society has influenced governments and teaching institutions around the world. It was founded as a military organization to restore power to the papacy, and the members of the order refer to themselves as soldiers of the Roman Catholic Church. It is a counter-Reformation organization and has enormous influence in many other organizations, especially through the United Nations initiatives. All forms of media and education have long been infiltrated by its operatives. This author was educated by these highly skilled educators, yet escaped being overcome by the spiritual exercises they exerted. The fictions people are taught and grow up to believe from their youth are passed into their offspring, and it continues until someone comes along to show them reality and wake them up.
Break the chain.
Yes, and it is accepted. This book is one vehicle that will expose you to the truth. If you accept it,
break that chain.
yeah. If you accept it, the spell can be broken, and the truth will set you free.
See?
Yahusha is the truth.
See?
Yes. Why people find truth to be disturbing at first. Consider the fact that the world economy is driven by a pattern of celebrations that cycle around every year. The merchants put up displays around these celebrations, and you see them everywhere you go, and one changes into another until they start again from the top. These celebrations are all based on camouflage pagan rituals that deal with esoteric or hidden knowledge concerning fertility. It's all fertility, all the holidays, the man-made traditions. It runs the gamut of all or the gamut of all human history, yet unseen. Are you worshiping the host of heaven? Birthdays? Birthday babble, candles toasting, wishes to genies. Cone hat, which is like the witch's hat, and cake. The cake, you blow out candles to the host of heaven, or to Queen Asherah. Astrology, horoscopes, and zodiacs. Birthday. Birthday is right here, and I'll read the next one. We have been deceived by teaching authorities, given their great power by the dragon, smuggled paganism in plain sight. Strong delusion, Christianity's institutionalized witchcraft, Torah zone. Middens, recycled garbage put back into service. And these are pictures of things that are abominations to Yahweh. Think. The symbols people see have a message not perceived by the casual observer. Eggs and rabbits are right in your face, yet not perceived at first as being about fecundity. The trees, ornaments, tinsel, and wreaths are actual sexually explicit components, but may not be detected by an outside observer over their lifetime until someone is sent to explain what they really represent. Every nuance of society is permeated with practicing a shameful idolatry, and those who can overcome the pressures of family and friends and escape are regarded as betrayers, heretics, and under the influence of a cult. The whole world is in the power of the evil one, and through a network of spiritual principalities has trained all of civilization to be rebellious against the Creator. There is a day appointed when all the world will be judged by one man for their behavior, whether good or bad. That man was raised from the dead as evidence of this fact. Acts 17. This may be the only warning you will ever hear, so please consider what you're about to read with thoughtfulness before you reject it. Rebelliousness is as witchcraft. He who answers a matter before listening, it is folly and shameful to him. Proverbs 18:13. How can so many be ignorant? They are taught to dwell on folly, and they fall prey to men's philosophies and traditions. Of all books printed in the world, the categories reveal a disinterest in the pursuit of truth and a love of futility. Children's books, 46%. Fictional books, 39%. Religious books, only 8%. Non-fiction books, 7%. That's sad. The truth, the bottom books, the true books, people don't care about. They just throw to the wayside. Not us, but others. Go, Roscoe. People that are still in darkness in Babylon. Nonsense is perpetuated with the approval of all those immersed in it, including parents, teachers, pastors, and rulers at all levels. What you have not yet recognized as nonsense will amaze you because there is so much of it. Fictional Christmas, an esoteric view of the mythological Christmas, what and who it's really about. Nimrod is Santa. Nimrod was deified as the sun in the sky. All sun deities are babbled forms of Nimrod's name. Birthdays were celebrated on December 25th. December 25th has been someone's birthday for over 4,000 years. He was the first king on earth, built Babel, a tower, and became the first mighty one, Nimrod, the God man. This rebel wanted to shoot an arrow at Yahuwah from the top of the tower. He founded the worship of the host of heaven, known today as astrology. Sorry, guys. Oh, I gotta cut my bangs. They're too long. Let me see. Okay, this worship of the Mazzaroth or zodiac, animal-shaped star groups, is based on celebrating the rebirth of the sun in the sky at the time of the winter solstice in December. Since ancient times, the solar birthday and all of the symbols associated with sun worship were practices honoring the deification of Nimrod. Nimrod became the template for all sun worship. His name was babbled in the confusion of languages, becoming Shamash, Ra, Mithras, Moloch, Baal, Apollo, Kronos or Orion, Got, G-O-T-T, Odin, Zeus, Krishna, etc. He had many, many names. His identity is occulted in the character of Santa Claus, which is an anagram for Satan, Claus. Krampus or Old Nick. Programmed from childhood. The founder of the SATANIC used this maxim. Give me the child for the first 7 years, and I'll give you the man. Stop, Roscoe. Inigo Loyola, founder of Societas IESB or Jesuits. A day is coming when all mankind will be judged for causing stumbling blocks. The main reason you are reading about it. Children are the target. No wonder they teach it, all this idolatry and all of these pagan traditions of men, all of these pagan holidays to children incessantly. Maimonides, 1135 to 1204, wrote about the strong opinion of habit in his book, Guide for the Perplexed. Men like the opinions to which they have been accustomed from their youth. They defend them and shun contrary views. And this is one of the things that prevents men from finding truth, for they cling to the opinion of habit. 2 Timothy 4:4 says teachers will abandon the truth and turn aside to myths. Missionary adaptation of Christmas. Dionysius Exiguus, Exiguus, a Scythian monk, visited Rome in the year 525. He witnessed Rome's fertility festival of Saturnalia and was appalled by it. History tells us he modified the reason for the celebration. The whole world now thinks of December 25th as the birth of the Messiah, a revision mostly unexplored by most people. People live on lies and myths passed down, sadly. Every popular celebration you can think of is directly inherited from pagan fertility worship from our ancestors. Paul was concerned that his work had been in vain among the Galatians. Being formerly heathens, they were falling back into their old pagan traditions and special days. He called their former pagan customs weak and miserable principles. Pastors falsely teach their flocks that these Galatians were falling back into Torah. Come on! Yahusha is opening our eyes now. And abiding in his word is setting us free of the devil's schemes. He is calling us to come out of the mother of harlots, Babel's traditions. Even the word Easter refers to Ishtar. Her Celtic name was Eostre. Her flower was the lily. And her sun-spiked image stands in the New York Harbor, the state I live in. I live about 7 hours from that monstrance, or that monstrosity, that statue, that mighty one built with the hands of men. Celebrating Christmas is adapted from sun worship. All pastors know it, but don't teach about it. They will defend the pagan origins, explaining how it doesn't matter because the purpose for it has been redirected. They react with the statement, it doesn't mean that anymore. Some will confess that everything Christianity practices is inherited from pagans, verifying Yirmiyahu or Jeremiah 16:19. Sun worship literally transformed itself into the thousands of religious sects known by many names, hiding its origins from the ignorant masses by a policy of missionary adaptation, also known as syncretism. When we refuse to receive a love for the truth, Yahuwah sends us a strong delusion to believe the lie. 2 Thessalonians 2:11. What is missionary adaptation? This is a teaching method used to shape the existing beliefs, words, symbols, and practices of a culture into different meanings. This method served well to spread Catholicism. This behavior is still reinforced and condoned as doing a greater good. But from the viewpoint of Yahuwah, it is a scheme of the devil to teach the traditions of men as a form of righteousness while abandoning the word of Yahuwah. See 2 Timothy 3. Borrowing the habits of other cultures, especially their righteous ones, and blending them is also known as syncretism. Pastors know this, but allow people to keep following the broad road to destruction. Turned aside to myths, not bearing sound doctrine. Teachers increase chaos.
Yeah, so you gotta stop barking. I'm trying.
What could possibly go wrong? 2 Timothy 4, 1 through 6. Malachi 4, 1 through 6. Another warning about turning aside to myths is recorded at 2 Timothy 4. Peter tells how the false teachers, would be saying the truth is evil at 2 Peter 2, 1 through 3. But there also came to be false prophets among the people, as also among you there shall be false teachers who shall secretly bring in destructive heresies and deny the master who brought them, bringing swift destruction on themselves. And many shall follow their destructive ways, because of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of, and in greed with fabricated words they shall use you for gain. From of old their judgment does not linger, and their destruction does not slumber. Those teaching the truth in the last days are exposing the schemes of the devil, getting the bride cleaned up. Okay, weak and miserable principles. Christmas, birthdays, Easter, and Halloween are special days in the eyes of most people, and entwined very strongly with family bonds. Yahuwah forbids us to mimic pagans. We've been duped, and witchcraft has entangled itself with our family bonds. When we abandon pagan customs and explain why we can no longer practice them, we are accused of being hateful, and they heap abuse on us. 1 Peter 4 shows us what's happening. Consequently, he does not live out his remaining time on earth for human passions, but for the will of Elohim. For you have spent enough time in the past carrying out the same desires as the pagans, living in debauchery, lust, drunkenness, orgies, carousings, and detestable idolatry. Because of this, they consider it strange of you not to plunge with them into the same flood of reckless indiscretion, and they heap abuse on you. This is what Yahuwah means about us being the salt of the earth. If we live among them and they hardly notice us, we have lost our saltiness. At Revelation 12, Yahusha describes for us a great sign. The woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, is her own unwary bride, surrounded by the 12 star patterns. She is defiled by all her idolatrous sun worship. Our acts of obedience are our white robes. We no longer walk as pagans. Come out of her. Revelation 18:4. Yahusha uses these words to call his bride out of the teachings of the harlot mother before releasing his wrath upon the earth. See Matthew 24 and Yashayahu Isaiah 24. This kind of goes with this, so I'll read this part next, and then I'll finish up the lesson for today. When was Yahusha born? Tradition informs us Yahusha, or Jesus, was born December 25th, Christmas Day, and shepherds and magi came that night to worship the child. The truth is far different in practically every detail. To the Romans, December 25th was the time of Saturnalia, celebrated with wild frivolity, drunken feasting, and fertility symbols to herald the rebirth of their sun deity, Apollo or Nimrod. All sun deities are Nimrod babbled in other names. Soldiers knew him as the Persian form Mithras, the slayer of the bull, the zodiac or animal constellation Taurus. Mithras slaying Taurus, mystagogue, person who initiates in mysteries, like occultism. This figure is located at the Vatican. See the hat of Mithras and the elves on the right and left? These clues show us we're looking at Santa, an esoteric Nimrod solar deity. December 25th was adopted to revise the pagan festival into a Christian festival. In 321, Constantine enforced Rome's venerable day of the sun, replacing the seventh day Shabbat as a day of rest. Sunday is not Yahuwah's Shabbat. Hebrews 4 proves it. Oh, occult practices were camouflaged with new interpretations.
22-inch rims to get rid of.
I know.
Jeez, oh. They can't put anything in a closet. Sorry.
I know. Leaving the symbols and behavior perfectly intact to this day. Mithras was the Persian sun deity popularized by the Roman soldiers. They went full tilt Nimrod too.
You were good.
Christmas, a satanic practice. A 17th century Puritan public notice. The observance of Christmas having been deemed a sacrilege, the exchanging of gifts and greeting, dressing in fine clothing, feasting, and similar satanical practices are hereby forbidden, with the offender liable to a fine of 5 shillings. And this is the public notice. The obfuscation of Christmas having been deemed a sacrilege, yes, it reads the same. And it says that it was forbidden at that time. So people did hear the truth, and they did take it into consideration at that time. I will be reading more about this in my next video. Christmas, a satanic practice. Santa is the Nimrod sun deity. Old Nick, euphemism. Christmas tree, Asherah. Unfossilized king of Babel. Perfect people are hard to get along with. I don't see that. Is obedience now heresy? How to tell your family. Let's start with the real name. The lie, hoc est corpus mum. People don't know what they don't know. Questions to ask a pastor. Blind guides teaching their traditions, not truth, with big questions. And I will go through all of the questions if I can. Yes, I should be able to. Yeah. I try to get through at least between, I got through 14 or almost 14 pages today. We're going to be going through probably 15 or 16 pages next lesson. I'm just trying to slow down a little bit on how much I read per day on the lessons until I get my my thing to hang the flag for you guys, because it's going to look a lot nicer and be a lot better. I hope you all have an amazing Shabbat. Early Shabbat Shalom to everyone. If I don't get back on and do another video, I might throw on another prayer video for today. I love you all. Yahuwah Baruch you and your families. Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. I love you all. Shalom.